Creating something original is now harder than ever, as new ideas are thrown around as often as that one girl in high school that hangs around the football team. It's a daunting and near impossible task to achieve, but somebody has to motivate them to win. Making 100% original anime is difficult. Oftentimes, unoriginality is linked with being a bad thing for an anime and is the main cause for its failure. This can be true, but in many cases, it's just a creaky floorboard on an already sinking ship, or a $30 Logitech remote controller on an ill-tested submarine. Fixing either of these ultimately wouldn't stop the vessel from going down, and likewise, creating original elements into an anime with no story to drive it forward wouldn't save the series either. So authors like Hajime Kamoshida took elements that already existed and twisted them a bit to make something new and refreshing, which led to Bunny Girl Senpai's conception. There's a mixed reaction in the anime community when this happens. There's a side that thinks it's good and innovative, and there's a side that thinks it's the devil, that copying other works is the worst possible sin an anime could commit. And then there's a side that doesn't care as long as there's anime titties or thighs. I know which side we're on. However, Bunny Girl Senpai isn't that kind of anime despite the name. I know it's clickbait, but welcome to the internet. The show has been the target of unfair comparisons ever since it aired in 2018, and I think it's about time someone told the truth.
Bunny Girl Senpai starts at the local library where Sakta is just doing library appropriate things when he notices something. A hot bunny girl in desperate need of attention. A normal person would maybe sneak a few glances or two, trying not to get caught looking at those beautiful personalities of hers. But Sakta isn't your average person. No, he's the textbook definition of a Sigma male. He reads the room and purposely chooses to go against it because he's just that guy. He's the type of person to buy and play Hogwarts Legacy just to piss people off. So instead of just looking at this bunny girl, he stares at her like this is the last time he's ever gonna look at a woman again. Now, this girl isn't just some random person. She's Mai Sakurajima, the famous actress that everybody knows and coincidentally is also Sakta's senpai. She's surprised that he's the only person there that can see her, and that strange fact sets up the entire premise for the rest of the anime. Various girls being affected by the same thing Mai is being afflicted by, puberty syndrome, which is described in the anime as abnormal experiences during adolescence due to sensitivity and instability. This doesn't really explain what exactly the syndrome is other than raging hormones and an increase in hair in weird places, so I'll describe it like this. It's a supernatural phenomenon where a person's problems become exaggerated and manifested into reality. For example, a girl getting cyberbullied by her classmates can wind up with cuts and bruises mysteriously appearing on their body, or a body swap can occur between two people due to their internal jealousy of one another. So the whole story is Sakta going around and helping these girls overcome their puberty syndrome in an arc style format. You know, cause bitches got problems.
Now, a smartass going around solving supernatural issues of different girls might sound a bit similar to a smaller series some of you might not have heard of called the Monogatari series. I know, it's pretty underground. A lot of people online have pointed out that this series is basically a spin-off of the Monogatari series, which should be appropriately named Normie Monogatari because of how many similarities you can see between the two. Others have claimed that Bunny Girl Senpai also took from different works as well, mainly Oregairu's characters Hachimana Yukino and some parts of the Melancholy of Haruhi Suzumiya. Now, blatantly copying other works without any changes is like being openly racist. Only white people do that.
I'd like to say 10.
And the last time I checked, Hajime Kamoshida was indeed not white, so Bunny Girl Senpai couldn't be a copy. If you compare Yukino and Mai's character design side by side, they look nothing alike. Either I'm white, or maybe they really do, but surely Haruhi has no relation to Bunny Girl Senpai. Alright, maybe they are similar and Kamoshida took heavy inspiration from these titles. Is what I would say if I actually believe that. Got you, didn't I? On the surface level, you could draw parallels with the other anime I just mentioned, but go any deeper than this guy went in your mom and you'll find that Bunny Girl Senpai has its own unique identity that it was able to establish from the characters alone. Sakta and Hachiman both have those unfriendly loner vibes, but the reasons behind their life is pain motto is completely different. Sakta is more about purposely going against social norms and doing the opposite of what's expected, which is unlike Hachiman's pessimistic outlook in life that stems from his inflated ego and handful of L's. Mai and Senjo Gohara are both tsunderes that have deep-seated trauma relating to their moms, but their next steps to mending their broken parental relationships is day and night. Mai met and spoke with her mom about going back into the show business without her as a manager, laying down the foundation for their relationship to heal. Senjo Gohara on the other hand cut ties with her mom for good, but that bitch did deserve it. I could go on and compare the rest of the girls in each series, but they don't really matter because they aren't best girls. Just know that the Monogatari female cast were mostly written to be a play on typical tropes you see in anime and manga, but with a Bible's worth of detail and backstory added to their wiki. And so when dealing with the apparitions, they also have to deal with their 80 pages of trauma they carry around. This makes it completely different from Bunny Girl Senpai's puberty syndrome because their problems are more about common issues and insecurities that many of us losers would have had to deal with during our adolescence, which certainly doesn't have dictionary pages worth of details behind them. I mean, if Kaede was getting cyberbullied, couldn't she just close her phone? Now, I have yet to find another anime that thrives in simplicity and complexity at the same time as well as this series did, and I think that's exactly what this entire show is all about. The problems the characters face are simple and truthfully irrelevant when you look at it from an outside perspective, but being a teenager is all about making simple problems unnecessarily difficult. I remember being a freshman in high school going on a field trip and sitting at a Japanese restaurant for 2.5 hours because the 10 of us couldn't figure out why the bill was so damn expensive and who wasn't paying their fair share. We never found out who the bitch was, but in the grand scheme of things, it really doesn't matter anymore. What matters is that I still cringe at that memory and I vowed never to let money get in the way of a good experience again. Also, I'm never eating with those fuckers again. While I do agree that the anime I mentioned earlier share some commonalities, Bunny Girl Senpai as an anime feels more digestible for a wider audience compared to the Monogatari series. There are no epileptic flashes of text you can't read, no exaggerated scenery you can't tell are real or not, no complicated watch order, and most importantly, no little girl smooching. Despite lacking all these very crucial elements, Bunny Girl Senpai still kept the confusing yet addicting dialogue and amazing synergy between characters as a core part of the show.
One thing that always did stand out to me besides the efficiency of storytelling was the dialogue and chemistry between characters. And this is where the Bunny Girl Senpai just copied the Monogatari series comments come in. But looking at it from a broader perspective, this is kind of a compliment to Bunny Girl Senpai. The Monogatari series is notorious for its convoluted, multifaceted dialogue that have even the hardcore sweaty fans confused about what's being discussed. And to capture even a fraction of that is pretty impressive. Bunny Girl Senpai's dialogue and even its writing in general can easily be described as witty and clever. Simple conversations between the characters can hide different meanings and hints behind the words, and this makes it very engaging to watch. The best conversations, however, are always between Mai and Sakuta. Having two sarcastic smartasses trying to one-up each other is like being part of a comedy bit where everybody is in on the jokes. What you're witnessing isn't your everyday friendly banter. It's a battle with words and expressions where the winner is determined by whoever gives up first. Which is usually Mai, because Sakuta says some really out-of-pocket one-liners that would throw anyone off guard. As a person that's watched this anime 4 times, I never really got bored of watching the characters interact with each other because the chemistry feels so natural. But of course, the main duo have the best chemistry in the anime. You never stop smiling when Mai and Sakuta are in the same frame together because you know regardless of whether they're having an incredibly witty conversation or having a dry-ass discussion about what the submarine thing in the tub is, they'll always spin it into something entertaining. The Monogatari series, Oregairu, The Melancholy of Haruhi Suzumiya, and Bunny Girl Senpai are all good anime in their own rights. Saying that one is a shitty clone of the other or a copy of all three put together kinda misses the point of the entire show. It feels like a nitpick or a reach for a comparison that doesn't need to be made when the anime is just a good watch. Bunny Girl Senpai to us just hits everything we wanted to see in a rom-com. It has original jokes, diabetically sweet romance, great chemistry between characters, a well thought out story, and of course, a best girl I can root for. And on top of all that, the anime has the added bonus of insanely good music. From the OSTs to that perfect ending song, they're just all, that's Italian for really fucking good. Now, I'm not a professional musician, nor do I have any qualifications to talk about music, but I don't think you need to be a genius to recognize that Bunny Girl Senpai probably has the best utilization of voice actors for any anime song ever. Seriously, that shit's enough to make a grown man ugly cry. Most rom-com anime get mixed and jumbled in my mind and fade into the darkness to be forgotten. But when I think about quality, when I think about emotional, character-driven story, Bunny Girl Senpai always pops up as the first thought. To some, this anime may be a forgettable show that did nothing new and simply had a clickbait title that attracted horny viewers. But to us, this was a touching, addicting character drama that forced these very human characters to confront their deepest insecurities and fears. It showed us that no matter what the past was like, we can always bounce back and become the best version of ourselves as long as we make the effort to do so. And for us, that's an anime worth remembering.